At one point, you've come across a Mars colonization video. You saw Elon Musk's presentation on how he's gonna do it, or NASA's, and you can't help yourself but think, what would it be like to live there? And would I be happy on Mars? If the most exciting part of your day is to check your phone while sitting on the toilet until both of your legs fall asleep, you already know the answer. A comfy toilet seat and Wi-Fi is all you need on the red planet. When I saw that Earth's gravity is more than 2 times stronger than Mars' gravity, and it still doesn't help me go to the bathroom, I thought, well, let's hope that there's internet on Mars. I did a little bit of research to find out if Mars had internet. I don't know. At least to Skype my family, play Minecraft, or visit websites. And to be honest with you, I thought there was internet on Mars already. You're probably familiar with the Curiosity rover that has been on Mars since 2012. Since Mayans did an oopsie and miscalculated the apocalypse, we can happily learn about Curiosity from articles or videos online. And before reading anything about Curiosity, I thought the rover had a camera connected to the internet, and a group of scientists from Earth could move the rover with a joystick as if it was some sort of, Need for Speed. But this couldn't be further from the truth. In my extensive 4 minutes of research on Wikipedia, I found out that, spoiler alert, there's no internet on Mars. Let's look at how we communicate with Curiosity, for example. We communicate with the rover using X-band radio waves, which have a stronger and better signal than your normal FM radio, or Metro PCS. In fact, anything is better than Metro PCS. And to send those X-band radio waves from Mars to Earth, we need to use 3 objects: the rover, an orbiter, and the Deep Space Network, or simply DSN. The Curiosity rover sends a direct signal to the orbiter, Mars Odyssey, and the orbiter sends the signal back to Earth's DSN. Let's analyze the first step. Curiosity has to send a direct signal to Mars Odyssey, but this communication is not as simple as you may think. Mars Odyssey orbits Mars at a speed of 13,000 miles per hour, almost as fast as Chinese food delivery guys. And for the Mars Odyssey to collect data, it needs to fly exactly above Curiosity. But because Odyssey is traveling super fast, it is only able to collect data for 8 minutes a day. If you have ever tried inviting someone out on a date, you're now familiar with Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. For example, what if the rover is tilted at an angle and it misses Odyssey? Oh, come on! Since scientists know about Murphy's Law, they thought about 2 other alternative ways Curiosity could communicate with Earth. 1. The rover can send a signal directly to Earth, but that would mean that Curiosity wouldn't have to speak to Earth. It would have to yell! More specifically, yell across distances that range from 34 million to 250 million miles away from Earth. It's almost the distance between New York and any In-N-Out burger joint. And to yell that loudly, Curiosity would have to exert lots of energy, making it less efficient than the batteries in your Game Boy Color. And when Mars turns its back on Earth, the signal wouldn't be able to travel through the red planet and reach the DSN antennas. Number 2. And the second alternative way is to have another orbiter that could serve as a backup plan, one that is flying at a higher altitude than Odyssey's. And that is the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, a spacecraft orbiting Mars at an altitude of 200 miles from the planet's surface. And it can also capture Curiosity's signal and send it back to Earth. That leads me to the next segment. This video is sponsored by me. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can help me grow the channel, create more content, link in the description. Thank you. If everything goes right the first time, and Odyssey can successfully collect data from Curiosity, you're probably thinking, well, if it can only collect data for 8 minutes, it better collect a heck ton of data. Well, it doesn't really. The orbiter collects on average 31 megabytes of data per day, which is more or less the size of 10 smartphone pictures, or one Shaq pic. It takes an average of 20 hours to send those 31 megabytes back to Earth. To visualize the speed of this data transfer, take Curiosity's selfie for example. To form this picture, the rover took 57 pictures at 1600 by 1200 in resolution. On average, the size of each picture of such resolution is 2 megabytes. If you do the math, 2 times 57 is the amount of times your girlfriend texted her ex-boyfriend in the last month. But 2 megabytes times 57 pictures is 114 megabytes of data that has to be sent to Odyssey. But since it can only send 31 megabytes per day to Odyssey, it would take 4 days to send those pictures to Odyssey and 70 hours to send it to Earth. Yeah, that selfie took almost a week to get to us. Imagine being on Mars and sending your crush a selfie that took 7 days to get to them, only to get an answer 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later? One of the reasons why it takes so long is that the Deep Space Network collects data from other space missions, like Voyager, Juno, Parker Solar Probe. So to collect that data, the scientists studying Mars basically have to schedule a time to use the DSN. It's like when you were a kid and you had to share your computer with your younger brother. Dude, it's my turn to use the... Oh my god, this is not what you think it is. Oh! Ow! Ow! Knowing all of that now, you're probably thinking, yeah, there's no way there will be internet anytime soon on Mars. Just imagine living without memes. So that brings me to the next best thing that would bring me happiness on Mars, and that's relationships. I'm generalizing here, I'm not even talking about a romantic relationship specifically. What about making friends on Mars? You see, there's only a short travel window every 2 years to send people to Mars. So imagine being stuck millions of miles away from home with barely any form of communication and you end up stuck with a negative person. Hey, it's been a month we safely arrived on Mars. I know, isn't it dreadful? Or someone who complains all the time. This food sucks. Why is everything white? You work all the time. Doesn't it suck that it's always sunny? Imagine sharing space with that guy who always exaggerates their story. Dude, you won't believe what I saw. What? I saw an alien. An alien? Yeah, it had a long nose and a face that looked like a dish, and it would make noises like bleep, 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 bleep. It was so scary. It was gigantic. It had really long legs. Or someone who doesn't take accountability. Dude, did you just break our communication tower? No, you. Or someone who gossips. You won't believe this guy. His breath stank, and he couldn't really handle the computer well. What a dumb person. You know that there's only the two of us here, right? You may think it's trivial, but imagine not being able to connect with the people you're with on Mars. With the rise of rates of depression, the increasing amount of people feeling lonely, and the rise of social media usage, we're finding how important it is to have real relationships with people. As Johan Hari said in one of his interviews, a huge number of people is not depressed solely because of a chemical imbalance in their brains, but actually a lack of connection with other people. In his research, he found that Amish people, known for not embracing technology, are the least likely to be depressed or end their lives. Which proves that the more you make fun of people with green bubbles on iMessage, the closer you are to being one of Logan Paul's videos. One of the reasons why they have great mental health is the fact that they have a sense of community. They build houses together, plant crops, take care of their animals together. Unlike you and me, who is spending a healthy amount of hours on YouTube. I think if you or me or any average person would ever consider volunteering going to Mars, even if as a guinea pig, we would have to think about what brings us true happiness, what entertains us, what makes us feel like we belong. I'm sure that nobody would like to know that the very first human to live on Mars would be so depressed that they would consider taking their own lives, but rather see that as a multiplanetary species, we would find what it means to be truly human.